Matthew chapter number 16, verse number 4. A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas, or Jonah. One may read this and wondered, why did the master level such a heavy charge? He called them wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. Not only were the adulterous serving other gods, but they were wicked. And as we said in the preceding verses, it's because he had already given them ample signs and proof of who he is. But we see here the one sign that he laid his entire reputation on the line was the sign of the prophet Jonah. We remember the story of Jonah, where Jonah was commanded to go down and preach to the individuals at Nineveh, and Jonah went the opposite way, boarded the ship for Tarshish, and then God had the great fish. Or first of all, God stirred up a tempest in the sea, and they tried to wrestle through it, and they had everybody to pray to their gods, and Jonah was asleep in his ship, and they woke Jonah up, and Jonah said it was his fault, and they didn't want to throw him over, but they threw him over, and a great fish ate him up, or a great fish swallowed him. And then we know the story of where the fish spit Jonah out, and Jonah went to Nineveh. And we know Nineveh was such a huge city. It was 3 days' journey in width. Such a great and massive city. Now, what did this have to do with Christ? Jonah in his ministry paralleled the Messiah in so many ways in his ministry. Asleep on the ship in a storm, the same way the Messiah was asleep on a ship during the storm. The Messiah woke up and calmed the storm. When Jonah finally woke up spiritually, it was his fault. Throw him in. He took credit. The sea was miraculously calmed as well. Jonah, if we go back and read right here in 2 Kings 16th chapter, verse number 25, we find where Jeroboam II, as wicked as he was, had started to work a reform in Israel based off the preaching of Jonah, the same Jonah. So we see where Jonah's ministry not only affected the Israelites, but his ministry affected the sinners or foreigners as well. And we know Yeshua's ministry was to Israel first and then to the Gentile nation, just like Jonah. And as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the great fish's belly, the Son of Man, the Son of God, would be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. So we can see in so many ways Jonah paralleled the Messiah. And this was the number one thing that Christ used. He would be in the grave 3 days and 3 nights. Not anything longer, not anything lesser. And God was going to raise him up. Everything was based off of that. And even after he prophesied that and fulfilled it, they still did not believe. And that's the reason why he called them evil and wicked, adulterous. They didn't want a sign, because when he gave them a sign, he stated to them a sign. They still did not believe. God, in the name of Jesus, help us to believe you, help us to trust you, and help us to walk after you.